Hey guys, it's Josh, and welcome back to the Not So Bad Bachelor Pad, your favorite podcast for learning how to balance between being a functional adult and a raging dumpster fire. Today's guest doesn't just talk about love, she rips the band aid right off, where most people are too afraid to admit it out loud. She's been through a divorce. She's had an affair, been through a gut wrenching situationship, but instead of hiding these stories away, she built a whole platform around them on her podcast, The Scarlet Edit. Everybody, let's welcome Nikki Corbett to the Bachelor Pad. Nikki, how the hell are you today?
Oh my gosh, what an intro. I'm wonderful. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me to come on your show.
Of course, there was literally not a single doubt in my mind when I listened to your show. I was like, book immediately, reach out, message, DM, everything we can do. She is coming on.
I love it.
And
I love it.
yes. So one of the reasons that I was so drawn to you is because you emulate what we do here inside the Bachelor Pad, and that's real, raw, honest conversation about your life. You can't really grow if you're too comfortable. So you need to say the thing out loud, and
Yeah.
I think that's really what your platform is built upon.
You're absolutely right. And, it's so funny because I'm sure, I mean, not only am I sure, I know that a lot of people are like, what were you thinking? Like, you not only you scrapped the podcast that you had, you started a brand new one, and you chose the relationship topic and decided to kick it off by telling anybody who hits play on your episode that you were the other woman in an affair. So people are like, what were you thinking? And I'm like, I just felt like that relationship is such a huge part of my story that it almost felt inauthentic to not be sharing it. And here's the craziest part. I actually sent a friend a voice note saying exactly this today because she's getting ready to launch herself out into the world. She's very nervous. She feels it's very cringe. And I was like, if you can take anything that I've ever told you, take this. I started a podcast and I told the world my deepest, darkest secret that many people will judge me for. And I've never felt more free.
Honestly, I can relate to that wholeheartedly. So many people were like, what inspired you to talk about sex relationships and the hot mess that you are as a person? And I was like, tequila. But after that,
Yeah.
I was like, it was the thing I knew the best. It was the most real, honest, authentic, like me who like showed up. So when we started the show back in 2020, that was the era of like all these relationship gurus and
Hmm.
experts. And I was like, that's cool and all, but where is the section for the normal people, the average Joes, the plain Janes who just have real life, everyday problems
Yes.
and get a little muddy? Because I connect better to people who get dirty just like I do.
Hmm.
They're not pristine, holier than thou, who I'm trying to emulate up to. I just like having real, honest conversation. And I think that's where people can really pick up the gems because they're like, wait, they're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I do this, they do this. Maybe I can do what they do too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like such a beautiful segue into one of my goals with the Scarlet Edit. And one of the key drivers to me starting this was that I feel like I mean, here's the thing, affairs are happening and they have been happening and they're always going to happen. The thing is that they're just not talked about. But unfortunately, when they do get talked about, it's usually because somebody's gotten caught. And then these people are gossiped about, they're put all these labels, they're judged, they're shamed, all of these things. And while, yeah, you know what? Sometimes on our journeys in life, we make bad decisions or we make decisions that we would never make again in the future. But that doesn't mean that we should be labeled as whatever it may be or carry around this shame with us for the rest of our lives. And so, one of my goals by not only starting this podcast, but by sharing my own story is because I want other women who have been in similar situations where they have felt judged or shamed to get on the other side and get to where I am and feel free and feel like, you know what, I still deserve a beautiful life. I'm still worthy of all of these things. Yes, I made some decisions that I wouldn't make again, but they got me here. I've said on my own show, I don't regret my choices because I love who I am today. And I wouldn't be this version of me without the path that I walked on to get here. I think that by being honest, I mean, I get messages at least once a week from women who are like, oh my God, I found your show. And I'm so grateful because now I feel like I have other people I can talk to about it. Now I feel like I'm not the only one who felt these ways or who went through this. So
Right.
to me, that's worth it.
That's really the main reason I think we do this is, once again, to build a sense of community, to connect. If my truth or my experiences could help one person make a few less mistakes or
Hmm.
own up to their truth as well, then job done. Like I've served my
Absolutely.
purpose.
Percent. It's funny because I've been asked more than once now, like, oh, so does that mean that you're an advocate for people having affairs? And I'm like, no, quite the opposite. Like, because I know how it turns out. So I'm not going
Right.
to go and tell somebody, like, oh my God, like, that's so cool. Go do it. But
Mhm.
at the same time, we are all human beings. And think about how many times you've had a friend come and tell you they're about to do something. And you're like, I don't think that I would do that. Like, they probably go and do it anyway. So for me, I've always just been like, look, like, I don't think this is a smart choice. I know what it is that you want for your life. And it never once included being in a relationship with a married man. But, if you are going to go down this road, there's going to be consequences to your actions. And regardless of if you think that you can keep it casual, you probably won't be able to. And, at the end of it, at the end of the day, it's going to end because you want to end it. Mm, but I mean, I always also I know that people will confide in me because, I've been there and it's not like I can sit there and shame them and judge them, nor would I had I not been there, but still.
That kind of leads me to a question. I know you've talked about it on your show, and I know you've been asked this 1,002 times. There, everybody's like, well, what possessed you to, to get into an affair or end it or whatever? I don't want to
Mhm.
ask that question. We've already answered that. What I really want to know is coming out, being bold, and telling people, owning that is one thing, but which has led to a lot of pros. Your show's done really well. I'm pretty sure it's almost a weight off your shoulder because you're not hiding anymore. But what is like a quiet cost that you still might be paying for living this authentic truth or coming out with the story?
Ooh, I've never heard the term quiet cost, but I think I know what you mean by that. And I do like that term. I actually had this thought this morning that, I could meet somebody fantastic who might fit, check all the boxes, if you will. And maybe he knows nothing about my podcast. And then maybe he goes home after like a wonderful first date and Googles me and finds my podcast. And then he might be like, oh, never mind. I mean, I'm very aware that that could totally happen. I could meet a phenomenal woman who I want to be friends with. And maybe she's had an experience with infidelity in her life that makes her very uncomfortable around me. I mean, that could certainly happen. I mean, I've had one person in my life who sent me a text right when the show launched, and she was just like, whoa. She was like, I know I haven't shared all of this with you, but she shared some personal things with me. And I know it made her very hard to support the show, which totally respect that. There's definitely could be things that, you know, happen that is because somebody simply is so adamantly against, anyone ever being involved in an affair on either side that they would not want to associate with me. But I mean, I also feel like there's a number of reasons why anybody would not want to associate with somebody. So it's kind of like, okay, I just kind of put it out there for them to find out right away.
Right. And I was like, at least mine is not entertaining, but like kind of entertaining. I was like, I'd rather it be for something that I took ownership of and
Hmm.
that I don't hide than I don't like the way you eat or, something
Yeah.
silly or mundane.
It was funny because I was talking with a friend last week and I mentioned to him that another person who we both know had mentioned to me that, oh, hey, I've heard from a lot of people about your podcast. And I was like, well, I didn't start a podcast for people not to talk about it. So, hey, great. Keep
It's
talking.
true. Honestly, I think funny story. I think I might have started a podcast for people not to talk about. I think I really just did it, like I said, during that COVID era for me and my friends. I thought it'd be like a
Yeah.
fun way for us to escape reality and just like hang out and shoot the crap. But, just
Hmm.
talk. But really, the more I had them on, the more the show kind of gained traction. I was like, it's evolved.
Hmm.
I'm so thankful for that because I think I've grown with the show
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was probably a hardcore fuckboy at the start of this, and now I'm a semi-emotional intelligent man. Semi-emotional.
Hey, good job. And that you can recognize your own growth. That's wonderful. Good for you.
Now, I don't wanna spend too much time, like I said, you've talked about the affair for, like, ever in the day,
Yeah.
but when people hear the word affair, they rush to blame somebody,
Of
but
course.
what's the part of the story that people never ask about that changes everything when you finally tell it to them or, like, they understand some of the lore or the backstory?
I love that question. And I actually really appreciate that question because it is rare that people actually care. I think a lot of times people think that affairs are very much like based in sex and this desire for sex and ooh, this married man wants to have sex with a, younger single woman. And it's like, okay, no, that's not all it was. Our relationship was very real. It was very loving. I mean, it was very much based in like deep respect, a very solid friendship. I mean, we cared about each other tremendously. And, I know that people will probably hear me say this and be like, oh, whatever, like that doesn't just happen. But like sometimes things do just happen. Like I
Yes.
didn't wake up the first, like, so I didn't wake up the first time he and I had reconnect, like we had known each other, we had met, like how you meet people along the way and then you collect them on LinkedIn or you collect them on Instagram or Facebook or
Right,
whatever, and then you kind of like watch their lives for 10 years and you're like, oh hey, like cool, like there's just another face that you're like snooping on their life. Well, we happened to be in the same town for work, we ran into one another, and like it wasn't like I was like, ooh, this is all part of the plan, like it wasn't one of those things. Sometimes they just happen and they just evolve. He was one of those people, and I hope that everybody experiences once in their life what I'm about to say because it was truly beautiful. He was one of those people that loving him was as easy for me as breathing. I did not have to think about it. It was so easy, and we got along so well. We rarely argued, and if it was something so stupid, like, like, "Oh, you're frustrating me, like, be quiet while I do my hair." Something so mundane
yeah.
that, like, didn't matter. Like, it was just so easy being with him, and I love that, and he truly became one of my best friends, one of my biggest supporters, and, it's funny because as I've been telling this story more and more over the last few months, I said at one point, I said, I wouldn't be who I am without him. And then this girl challenged me to reframe that because she was like, no, she's like, you're you. He's a part of your story. And I was like, you're absolutely
Mhm.
right. Like, I am me because of me. That relationship it was very positive. It had very positive impact on the woman that I have now become. And even if you take the frustrations that I had that ultimately led me to end the relationship, even with those, he still was a very positive influence on my life. And, I am grateful for the gifts that he gave me during our time together that have helped me continue to grow into the woman that I am today.
No, that's so true. If your life is a story and you're the author or the main character, no story just has one character. Like, you need
Exactly.
supporting characters, round characters, flat characters, ones
Hmm.
that are reoccurring throughout your life in order to keep the plot going and keep people interested and have those moments of growth and development. If
Hmm.
you don't have those people, how long would people really wanna read the story? Would
Totally.
you not get bored of your own story, you know? It's like, I feel like
Yes.
I feel like so often some people do, they get bored with their lives and then they shift or their whole personality becomes being the side character in somebody else's story.
Oh my
And that's one
gosh.
thing that terrifies me and I hope never happens. That's why I
Hmm.
live every day doing whatever I want because this is my life. This is my story as of now. I don't wanna
Hmm.
be the exposition in somebody else's narrative, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
It makes so much sense, and I love the way you framed that. That was beautiful because it's true. It's like not every story has only one character, and not every story has only one chapter. And I think that that's something that's so important is that, like, if somebody's going to come along and judge me for a past relationship and assume that that's all that I am, then their loss, because I mean, have you ever heard that saying kind of like, if you knew me 2 years ago, you don't know me at all today? And I love that because I'm like, I challenge it even further. Like, I'm like, you don't even know who, if you knew me in June, you don't know me today. Like, so much has changed since June for me. So I'm like,
Right.
I'm a different person. I'm continually evolving and growing. So keep reading, right? Keep reading.
And that's one of the biggest things we talked about in a previous episode is relationships, whether it's the formation or disbanding, are
Hmm.
about healing and growth. And villainizing an ex or a person in your life to make you feel better isn't necessarily doing either of you justice.
Yeah.
If anything, it's causing you to avoid what you really need to face. So
Mhm.
that's why I always frame things as because I mean, any good book, we've probably all read a story or known a person who you butted heads when you first met, or I love the word nemesis. I mean, am I
Yeah.
am I am I epic enough to have one? No, but I can dream. But we've all had somebody who is like, it feels like they're working against us, and then lo and behold, down the road, you become really good friends. Anybody who's knows the story of me and my best friend Yogi, I literally could not stand him when I first met him. And we got paired as partners. And now, 17 years later, still one of my best friends. It's just funny to think somebody who I thought I couldn't stand more than 5 minutes has now made
Huh.
it almost 2 decades as a crucial
Right.
part of my life.
Yeah. I mean, I like to, I don't think that I'm cool enough to have a nemesis either. I mean, I know there's certainly people that don't like me, but I don't think, I don't think I'm at nemesis status yet, but I'll let you know when I get there.
2026, we now have a goal. Find and or
Perfect.
develop a nemesis.
Yes. There we go. There we go.
A lot of people, like I said, they hear that word and they think it's just about carnal sex. So,
Hmm.
what was harder to admit that you were craving more sex, more intimacy, or more honesty in that relationship that kind of drew you to it?
So it's interesting. That's another actually really great question, by the way, because I was at a point in my life, in my own journey, where I will admit, like, I almost feel like I was like desperate to be loved and desperate to be seen for myself, for like who I am. And I don't mean desperate in that I would have taken I would have sat on a street corner and anybody that walked up to me and gave me attention. I don't mean that kind of desperation, but I mean, like, I had felt for so long that I had so much love to give. And it was like I was just like waiting to feel that connection with somebody and who was the right person and whose soul connected with mine. And so that was really what made it so easy. On top of that, it was like it just felt like, oh, there you are. And I mean that's really the only way I can put it. It was just kind of like finally, like here you are. I've been waiting for you.
As I've gotten older, something that's become dangerous to me is the idea of love because I love love and I think we all want to be loved.
Yeah.
However, the things we'll sometimes do for love or to be in a situation that we think is love scares me. And sometimes I don't recognize that person when I am in pursuit of
Mhm. I can relate to that.
it. So I love that you were able to admit that I just don't want to give it. And even that I'm the same way, I'm a slow burner. I don't want to throw the relationship title or I don't want to just hop into a relationship with somebody. So I think we are selective with who we love. I think I can say I've been in love twice and it was similar to what
Mhm.
you described where it just felt like breathing. Like we didn't really fight. I honestly can't think of a single fight we've had. Or like you said, it was
Mhm.
something silly like, what are we having for dinner? Or are you like matching? Are we not? Like, just something small
Yeah.
that little cute couples bicker about. But until you experience like that type of love, like that was so intoxicating, so magnetic that sometimes I try to force every relationship to be that. And
Mhm.
or like it's like a standard that if I don't have it, do I even want anything else?
Mhm. Yeah, it is weird. I think that timing plays such a role with where we're at and what we need at the time. I mean, I was also coming from a place where I felt like I had to take care of everything. He was like very type A, very much a planner, very much liked to be in charge. So, it was so great because I one of the things that I learned from that relationship is that I am okay with like traditional gender roles. I'm okay with letting a man like order for me, or, I love that holding the door, buying me flowers, opening the car door, doing all those traditional gender role things. But I have to trust you in order for me to feel comfortable with you doing that. So that was something that I learned in the relationship because I did trust him very quickly and I did trust him to do those things for me. And it was so refreshing because I was just like, oh my God, I don't have to think about this. Like, I don't have to, I don't even, oh, I can go and just sit down at a restaurant. I had never done that before. I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and then food is going to come, wine is going to come, and I'm going to have a wonderful night. And I was like, I've never trusted somebody to do that before. So it was really nice. But going back to what you said about love and being trusting and comfortable, it is interesting. It's just this, it's almost like this mind fuck sometimes where you're like,
Mhm.
okay, I want all of this, but am I going to open my doors wide enough to let it in? And am I going to not get in my own way and potentially sabotage something that could be great?
I think also the other part of that is sometimes we need to carry glass cleaner because we have these rose colored glasses that we look through and we're like,
Yeah.
this is just as magical. But really, I was like, no, that's just a smudge. It's
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Oh
No,
my
I mean,
God.
we can relate to
Totally.
that. I think everybody has had a relationship. You're like, this is the best thing ever. I'm so in love. And then as soon as it ends, or like one day you kind of just like look to the side and you're like, actually, wait, what in the
Yeah.
actual turducken is happening right now?
Totally. It's always so funny too when that happens, like with your friends, where, a friend is dating someone and they're just like talking about him like he's the second coming of Christ. And you're like, oh my God, okay. And then you meet him and you're like, really? Okay, well, whatever. I'm not dating him. So if she's happy, I'm happy. And then they break
Right.
up and then she like just immediately like the floodgates open with all the things
Mhm.
she hated about him. And I'm like, then why were you there?
Like, was he a hypnotist? Did he hypnotize you? I don't know. That has to be the case.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
So this is a fun thing that I've been working a lot with some of my clients is you and hit on it on yourself earlier, is that each person's story has so many chapters. It's just not one fold. Hopefully you have a lot of progression and a lot of different looks with through those chapters. After all your highs and lows, if you're anything like me, you've had more than a couple lows. What has been your favorite version of you and why?
Ooh, I would say this version. This version is my absolute favorite. The other reason why I say that this version is my favorite version of me is because I decided to take the risk. I decided to say, you know what? I'm tired of looking at other people doing other things and feeling like I can do that too, but then not doing it. I'm tired of getting in my own way. I'm tired of being on the sidelines. And so I finally just said, okay, we're going to go, we're going to do it. We're going to take this risk. And now I feel like my vibration is so much higher. I truly am living in this just energy and this moment. I hope it's not just a moment. It's like I'm living in this world that I am creating for myself that is so awesome. And I just feel like I'm everything that I dream about is my reality. And it's it just keeps coming. And so I couldn't be happier. Like, and I really have been working on my language and my mindset. And by language, I mean the things that I say. Instead of saying I have to or I should, now I'm like, I get to. I get to record a podcast with Josh today because he invited me to be on his show. Like, how cool is that? Like, I get to send this proposal out to do work that I never even imagined that I would be doing. And now I get to send a proposal out to do it. Like, I get to do this I get to meet all these cool people because of what I decided to put out into the world. So that is why this is my favorite version.
I love that. And I think most of the people listening can understand that too, is whether it was today, tomorrow, or 3 years ago, we have, or you've had a point in your life where you just are really happy owning your shit. And what I mean by
Yes.
that is you're doing what you dreamed of, or even though you might not have dreamed it, it somehow brings you this sense of weightlessness and fulfillment that just enriches your life.
Yeah.
I have shifted to I get to hang out with Nikki for an hour. I get to talk to people all over the globe. That's the thing I never thought would happen.
Right.
Even to this day, when I get some inquiries for collabs or people working with me, they're like, I was like, you want to work with me? Little me, the guy
Yeah.
from Ohio? I guess that's cool. And I love it. But that's the thing, like, as your show will continue to grow, I wish I can say I've been excited about 100% of the guests I've had on here. I wish I could say that 100% of the episodes that I've recorded or put out have been exactly what I want them to be, but they haven't. I've learned something from each
Mhm.
guest, whether we connected, whether we didn't, whether I thought we shared a message or like-minded viewpoint.
Mhm.
I still think there is some interest. And anybody who starts out in this space, or if you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to take meetings and work side by side or be in the same space as people who you may not necessarily love or who
Mhm.
get you in order
Mhm.
to get where you want to go. So I think that's
Mhm.
also part of the journey in life, in love, in pretty much any facet.
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
definitely is. It definitely is. And I think that I love what you just said about how, not every show has been, it's, top of the charts, and not every show or not every guest you've like loved and wanted to invite over for Christmas dinner. I mean,
Right.
it does happen. And yeah, as long as you're learning as you're going and taking something from every episode, and maybe sometime you're going to take something from an episode where you're like, man, I learned how to edit better as a result of that one.
No, that's so true.
So
But then there are also people who I've actually met from the show who we've made plans to hang out. They've been to my
so
city, I've
cool.
been to theirs, or we talk like once a month in a group chat.
I love
And
that.
that is so crazy to think that
So cool.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah. No, that's truly one of my favorite things about being in podcasting is how many amazing people that I get to meet that would not have otherwise met because of podcasting and the internet, and being able to have this
Mhm.
conversation with you while you're sitting in Nashville and I'm sitting in California. It's like, what? So
Yeah,
cool.
it really is. And I just hope you keep having more amazing moments, more amazing connections like that.
Thank you.
Now, I think this next question is one that is universal to everybody. And whether you've new to dating, you've been dating for a while, or you're in some type of complicated, convoluted situationship, do you think that the love that you're looking for will fit inside the rules that we've been given in today's society? Or does it need to be something rebellious, designed from scratch that we kind of piece together?
Interesting question. I mean, I am a hopeless romantic by nature. I am a daydreamer. I love love. I truly do believe that the right man is out there for me. We just haven't bumped into each other yet. So I believe when we do, it will be just like, oh, all right, there you are. Cool. Let's go. Let's do this. Do I think that, he's on every corner? No, of course not. But I certainly think that he's out there. And I mean, I'm a hopeless romantic. So I think that it's going to end up being like quite easy when we finally end up in the same time and space.
So, are you kind of like Ted Mosby from like How I Met Your Mother? One day you're going to be sitting on the couch with your kids, just like recounting your story to get to love, or do you think it is going to be something? I don't know, not like less grandiose, but I was because some people think are like, I don't think you think it's just going to fall into your lap. Like
No,
obviously,
I
like one day
don't.
you're just going to
No,
wake up in love, but also
no.
I don't think you have to come up with this whole chart for it. Like on a scale of 1 to over the moon in love, like how much of a hopeless romantic are you? Or like rom-com type of love?
Oh, I'm as hopeless can be. Yeah. Yeah, sign me up for that. Put me down for that.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna find it, but like I said, I love love, but as much as I watch a rom-com, I was like, do I want this? A little bit? I don't know. I guess there are different types because
Yeah.
I would definitely be happy with a Jim and Pam situation from The Office.
Uh,
One you've been in proximity for years, but all of a sudden you kind of fall into it.
okay,
You,
okay. Uh-huh.
because I was like, I feel like they worked together for a while, and
Yeah.
then something happened. I can't remember what happened, and he's like kind of interested, but she was like unavailable, and like it just kept switching. But it wasn't quite
Mhm.
Ross and Rachel as well.
Right, right.
I was
Yeah.
like, and I was like, because I don't know, it's just something about like that chemistry where I was like, no, I could go for some of this. I can go for some of this.
Okay. So, okay, you have to forgive me because I'm actually like terrible with TV and movies. I do know I have seen The Office and Friends, so don't worry about that.
Okay,
But when you said How I
okay,
Met
okay.
Your Mother, I was like, oh, I didn't really watch that.
Like, honestly, I didn't make it through it either. I watched like the first 3 seasons. That was it, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I just more feel like it's just going to be it's just going to be easy. I feel like I don't know. It's like sometimes I see people and they talk about like these horrible dates that they've been on and these different things that have happened. And I'm just like, that doesn't sound like fun. I don't want to be in those type of situations, and I'm not saying, again, it's not like I think that someone's just going to knock on my door because, I mean, while that would be amazing, I don't believe that that's going to happen. I think that through continuing to put myself out there, I will end up in spaces and places that I haven't been before. And I think that, that's where I'll meet someone or someone's. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have to date. It's not going to be as easy as just like meeting one person one time and then like that's
Right.
it. We're good.
Like, whoever comes next, just be ready.
Yeah.
Have the ring, 'cause we're done. No, no, I completely get that, and it's so true. Because I feel like I was really lucky enough to have multiple sets of grandparents who had amazing love that spanned, I think both sets over 50 years, like over half a
Wow.
century,
Mhm.
or no. Yeah? No.
Yeah.
Not
50
about
years
half
is
a
half a
century,
century.
not over half
Yeah.
a century. I don't know. Math was hard there for a second. What? No.
No, 50 years is half a century. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That spanned, over half a century, and I was like, "Oh, see, that is what I want." Do I
Mhm.
think it'll be corny and cheesy? Maybe because 'cause I'm corny, and so somebody's bound to be cheesy, but
Yeah.
I want it to be like this. Like, I want the hard times, I want the boring days. I can't wait
Mhm.
for the super cute moments in between that we hold on
Yeah.
to and we can tell our kids and grandkids about. I think
Mhm.
that's really what I want more than anything. Not
Yeah.
the
Well,
journey
then
to love, but, like, enjoying, like I said, just the going down the
once you're
slope.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think that's beautiful. I mean, my parents just celebrated their 50th anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and
Congratulations.
it was so cool. I mean, it's been so cool to watch, I mean, I also feel like as we get older, we're probably going to see less and less people make it to the 50-year mark simply because people are marrying later, the divorce rate is higher.
We're also living longer.
Yeah, that is true though. So yeah, fair point, fair point. So maybe we will. But I mean, it has been nice to see my parents and, not that they haven't had their hard times, but they certainly do still very much love each other. They have a beautiful friendship. They love spending time together. When they're apart, they miss each other. And I mean, how cute for 50 years to still
Right.
feel that way about each other. And I just, how lucky am I to have got to witness that.
And I definitely think it'll happen for you too.
Me too.
Nikki, I say this actually, I think I've said this a lot this season, but it doesn't make it any less true. I like you. You are a pretty cool, fun person so far. I
Thank
mean,
you. I
sure,
feel
have
the
we
same.
thank you. We've only known each other an hour, but in that hour approximately, I have made the decision that I was like, she can join the club, guys. She's official, a not so bad
Thanks.
member.
Love it.
We're doing fun new things here because I think you're such a great energy and you're so inquisitive and curious, and you have such a breadth of different guests on your show as well. I'm gonna flip the roles and be in the hot seat for a second. Is there a
Okay.
question that you've really just wanted to ask a guy, or you want to ask me that you just think it's just been a burning question, or just something in the back of your head that you were like, I'd love to get a new perspective on?
Ooh, okay, yeah. I am curious. I mean, it's funny. So I will be very vulnerable here and share this. I have not really been dating over the last year. So, like, the last real date that I went on was about a year ago. And I don't even know if I would count that because I was in Greece and we did have a significant language barrier. So it was more just us talking and laughing and drinking
Right.
wine than I would really say a date. So if we're being technical, it could be like a real date was about over a year ago. So, I guess I'm curious from a male perspective, like from a dating perspective, are there different age ranges that men are kind of focused on? Do you put different women in buckets based on their age, or is it more just you're going off of, your vibe and, things in common about what you want for your life and your future?
That's a good question with a lot of complexities because we talked about timing earlier. Not
Mhm.
every man is in the same time in their life, nor the partner that they choose. So it's hard to be like, as somebody in their 30s, I'm okay looking for love, right? I definitely don't want one night stands. I don't mind a situationship. Like if you find yourself in one, I'll enjoy it for a brief moment, but I can't stay in it. Like I can't do
Mhm.
that for long. So I think it just depends on each man is kind of different. And
Mhm.
how I view women is just about the same because, well, I don't think somebody in their like 70s or 60s is trying to date a 20 something or a 30 something year
Yeah.
old man
Fair.
to fall in love with their one epic romance, or
Yeah.
like to start a family. But maybe, and we talked about this, I think out of all the partners I had, whether it's relationships or just romantically, I tend to date older. And sometimes there is a nice age gap. I think the biggest age gap I've dated, meaning I've gone on at least 2 or 3 dates with,
Mhm.
was 50 years. So
Whoa.
obviously, yeah, we've dated some cougars.
Wow, that's a big gap.
Listen, love is love, and I
I'm
understand how
with you.
lovable I am. Like, who doesn't want to take
Yeah.
home a nice chocolate teddy bear?
I mean, fair, fair.
Right? Right? No, but no, it's real. But that was a different type of relationship. I didn't know how it was going to start. I didn't know how it was going to end, but I enjoyed every bit in between.
Mhm.
But I do find that I put a lot more pressure when I'm dating people closer to my age
Okay.
because I feel like we, quote unquote, might be in the same chapter of our lives. And
Mhm.
so they might be somebody I can build with. Whereas if I'm dating somebody younger or like at the bottom of my kind of age gap that I like, or dating somebody older who I feel like has maybe been through this chapter or is a couple chapters ahead of me,
Mhm.
I just allow those relationships to be and I don't think too much about them. I just enjoy them more.
Mhm.
So maybe that is a thing that we do. I know like when guys date older women, once again, they're not trying to fall in love. They do
Mhm.
love how uncomplicated it is because you don't have to play games. Like older women are amazing because they will tell you what they want. They will tell you
Mhm.
when you're messing up and they won't sugarcoat it or like use some type of coded language.
Yeah.
Whereas when you date younger women or women, like said, in their 30s or I would say like 20s to like 30s, they just can't be straight up. Like, no, you're really upsetting me by doing X, Y, and Z. It's like
Yeah.
they leave hints for you to figure out. And I was like, you know what I do for a living. Not detective, not inspector,
Yeah. Yeah. My gosh.
not
It's
professional connect the dots player. I need a little transparency. Like honest, transparent conversation will take you so far when
Mhm.
figuring out where you stand with a guy and getting into a more fitting relationship.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question because I think that this is important. I think you'll like this one. So there's a girl who's an influencer and she has this theory called the box theory. And she basically says it's like that when a guy meets you, he puts you in a box like right away and it doesn't matter what you do regardless of because you're already in the box. So maybe he'll put you in a box that he's like, "Oh my god, this is a girl I could marry. This is a girl that I would only want to fool around with. Like this is a girl I'd only want to be friends with." And no matter what you do, once you're in that box, like there's nothing you can do to get out of that box. So like for example, if he meets you and puts you in the friend box, like yeah, you can give him the best BJ of his life, but you're always going to be in the friend box. Or on the flip side, if he meets you and he's like, "Oh my god, this is a girl I could marry," like you could literally like throw up all over his bed because you had too many tequila shots and he still isn't going to be grossed out. He's still going to be like, "Oh my god, she's amazing. I want to marry her." Do you believe in that?
No, no hesitation. Easy. I had thought about this. I think I was in eighth grade when I came up with this theory and I fine tuned it throughout the years. I believe there are three types of people. There are dateable people, there are fuckable people, and there are just people you don't fuck with.
Hmm.
I think those are the three categories that like people are placed into,
Okay.
and you can slide between them. It's a nice
Uh,
spectrum. Is it easy to necessarily move? No. Is it impossible? No. Definitely can be done. I've had friends who were legitimate friends who honestly, like after like years together or like certain situations and just being vulnerable with that person, they kind of get a look. But then I also have people who I thought were super attractive and I got to know them and I was like, I'm okay if I don't ever talk to them again. And any
mhm.
variation in between. So I think you can slide. And definitely, if we're best friends, it also depends how we became friends.
Mhm.
Because I was like, if we're best friends, okay, mm, okay, discounting the one story where I had the best friend orgy, typically you're not hooking up with your best friend.
Yeah.
So like that will never happen. Can you fall in love with your best friend? Maybe, but it's never because they gave you the best blowjob ever.
Mm,
Because it's like you have such an emotional connection.
uh-huh.
Like guys, we're really good at compartmentalizing and we can do like, hey, you want to friend zone me or I friend zone you, you can stay there forever. But I mean, if you open like just because you open a door doesn't mean I'm gonna walk through it. But
Yeah.
you can get curious and peek your head. Like, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I
so yeah,
definitely like the categories that you have, especially the
because
people
it
that you don't fuck with. I feel like that goes for friendship too.
100%. Like it just fits. Like I can't say that I haven't hooked up with a friend before.
Yeah, we all
I
have.
and if you say you haven't, you're a liar or you're too young to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
You just haven't done it yet. Give it time. Give it time. But also, I mean, there are people who I think there's maybe two or three people I was like, I could probably spend the rest of my life with this person. And then some other things happen and maybe I don't handle them the best way or they did something that we just didn't handle the best way and I haven't talked to them in a decade. So
Mm-hmm.
they went from a person who I thought was dateable, which you date long enough, I guess it becomes marriage material, but I'm not giving
Yeah.
that a new category, to somebody I don't fuck with.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it was literally a person I thought I could spend the rest of my life with. So
Yeah.
I think that's all. And I think those are three big enough and different places that you can put people where there's not really a gray area
Uh,
and it gives you hope. I mean, not gives you hope, but I don't believe in like making things too rigid because
mhm.
the thing about when you try to put something in a box, it might not be the right size. And no matter
Yeah.
how much you can press down on it, it might not fit. And trying to make it fit, you can break it.
Yeah.
Or if it's so small that you could fit two or three other things inside this box before it closes up. So I try not to box things off. I always like things to be able to have enough room to slide around, to grow. Life is like a plant. You want it to keep growing. Every seed has its season. So I think that's a more lifelike example metaphor than a box.
Mhm. Okay. Fair.
Alrighty, well, that was fun.
That
Now,
was
Nikki,
fun.
I know. Look at you. Do I have to give you a hosting credit now that like you ask
No, that's
questions?
okay.
Okay, I I don't know, co-host and no, we're gonna slide into my favorite segment for a moment, and then before we wrap up. And I'm a firm believer. I mean, you could tell me I'm wrong, but I think everybody enjoys a good quickie sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what this section kind of is. It's a really quick, off the dome, don't think too much, just be
Okay.
present and enjoy it type of situation. But the questions might get a little more difficult as we go. Okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
First question. It's an easy lob. Hopefully you can knock it out of the park. Name of the show, The Not So Bad Bachelor Pad. What's your current relationship status? I
I'm
know you haven't
single.
been on a date in over a year, so
Yeah. I'm
single.
single.
Alrighty, listen, but are we looking? Are we just still enjoying ourselves?
I mean, I am incredibly focused on my show and what I'm doing and the way I live my life. But I mean, I'm open to conversation and with the right person, sure.
Now, if you say there isn't one, I'm going to call you a liar on international television or radio because people watch and listen.
Hmm.
What is a red flag that you secretly find a little bit sexy?
Gosh, a red
Don't think too
flag that
long.
I find. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I haven't even been like, I truly, it's not that I don't have any. It's like, I just can't think of it something off of the top of my head. I mean, the only things that are like popping into my head are like things that are red flags, not that ones that I do not find sexy.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I mean, I'll give you mine then. Since she won't
Please,
answer, chat, like
please.
I'll give her mine. Honestly, it's being bitchy. I have this weird thing. Maybe it stems from my parents. Who knows? We're not here to psychoanalyze me. But if somebody's too nice to me, I can't be attracted to them. Or if I am, it won't be for long. Like I need
Uh huh.
somebody who can give me shit and kind of put me in my place from time to time because I have a pretty big ego. And if left unchecked, I will topple over because my head gets big. So I need
Well, yeah. I
somebody
mean,
who
you
can
want the
kind of,
banter for sure.
right,
You don't want to be with someone who you're going to like steamroll.
right. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
kind of need that. So that's the red flag that I think is sexy.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
I mean, and you don't have to answer this, but have you ever gone back to an ex because the physical chemistry was just unreal? I definitely have doubled backed because I missed the back scratches that I had an ex give. Like, honestly, I didn't know it was a thing until I like knew it was a thing. I I almost felt like a dog because like she would scratch my back and then I would like do the shoulder
Like
shimmy
get
and then
the
I
little like you'd ride the bike, like
yeah.
your leg starts twitching.
Yep. And I was like, "Oh, is this a new kink unlocked? Maybe, I don't know."
Oh my gosh.
What's your favorite way to get over heartbreak?
My favorite way, I mean, I would probably just say like, letting like sitting on the couch like after a nice hot shower with a pint of ice cream and not caring if I eat it all and watching Sex in the City.
So, this is something that's super interesting. I was talking to one of my friends at the bar last weekend, and I was like going over, I was like, "Yeah, I was listening to my like I listened to my breakup playlist, et cetera." And he was like, "What's a breakup playlist?" And I was like, "What do you mean everybody has a breakup playlist? There's
Yeah.
a song there's like a song or like a series of songs that you relate to this breakup with, like whether it's popular
Yeah.
at the time or it reminds you of them." He's like, "Never heard of that
Uh-huh.
in my entire life." And I was like, "Bud, you're in your like 40s. How have you never had a breakup song or playlist before?"
Maybe
But
he
then
wasn't a
I've
lyrics person. Cause the whole like there's lyrics people and then there's beats
Mhm.
people. So, like, I'm a lyrics person, so I'm always blown away by people who aren't, or when they'll be like, "Oh my god, I love that song," and I'll, like, laugh and be like, "Oh my god, it's such a weird story, like, and they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Have you listened to the words?" Like, guys. So, I don't have a breakup playlist per se, but I do find that like songs that are sad will be very I'll end up just coming upon them that are like incredibly relatable to like the specific breakup where
Mhm.
it's like holy shit, like this is so exactly about this relationship. And one of the things that I also do is I make an annual playlist every year, so it's like January 1 hits, and if I'm listening to a song and I like it, I add it to the playlist. And it doesn't matter if it's new, it doesn't matter if it's in English, it doesn't matter if it's, all genres. So, depending upon my relationships as years go on, sometimes some of those playlists will have some really, heart wrenching tunes on there because I've found them as I've been processing through something.
Shout out to Spotify. Like, also, like, if you wanna sponsor us, you we can chat about that. No, they do it for me. Spotify Wrapped, it's everybody's favorite time of year because
Yeah.
here's what you've listened to the most, and it just makes a
Yeah.
big post for the year, and I was like, "Perfect, I don't even have to do it, I just know." But I guess you're
Yeah, but
like,
I feel
yours
like that's more like based on like how many plays you have. Like I'm older, so we use Apple Music in my generation.
No, 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 no. No, I feel like Apple Music is for newer people. I was like, like, I was an iTunes kid after I was a LimeWire kid, like, don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
I did the whole thing, the burning CDs, but I feel like once iTunes switched from iTunes to Apple Music, it was a whole different beast that I
Yeah.
couldn't understand or afford, so I switched to Spotify.
Yeah, I've been an Apple Music person for years. I mean, but I grew up where I had a tape player, a boom box, and I would have a blank tape in there, and I would go to hit the play and record at exactly the same time the DJ stopped talking so I could get my song.
No, I feel it. I'm trust me, I've been there. I have been there.
Yeah.
My gosh, I got distracted, but, like, in the best way. What is hotter, being desired or being understood?
I think I'd have to say right now, understood.
That's understandable, huh? No pun intended.
Yeah.
No, I get that. As somebody who kind of says they're demisexual, it's also hard because I'm super adorable, so, like, everybody desires me. So, it's a tough problem to have. No, but I would have to say I agree because there's something about being seen, being heard, and
Exactly.
also not having to explain your humor to somebody
Yes. Oh my gosh,
that is
right?
just chef's kiss. It's so
Yeah.
all you not so bad members who've been listening this season, what's the word of the year? Decadent. Nikki,
Ooh, love.
I don't know when or where I started saying this, but I was like, "Ooh, that's so decadent." Like, that's my, like, adjective this year. Like, I love
Uh-huh.
it. So I'm like,
I
I'm trying to
love
get it to
that.
catch on. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna
yeah.
start using it. That's a
I mean, you're
great
part of the
word.
club, so you're wearing your pin, so you
Yeah,
can
I've
say it.
got
You
my
can say it.
pin. I'm part of
Yeah.
it. No, I think that feeling understood is so important, especially because I mean, look, we live in a very visual world, right? We have dating apps, we have social media, we have all these things where people are putting their best foot forward, their hottest photos, their highlight reel of their lives. And so, yes, by as a default, there's going to be people that see you and that look at you and that like want to fuck you, but like that's great and all. No, I'd rather you understand me and like see me for who I am and like find me funny and find me interesting.
I mean, this kind of like segued into this, so I'm not counting it as a question. Have you had a glow up? Did you ever have like a fugly phase or like a super ako taco phase?
I
Or
don't think
like,
I
have you just
well,
always been like this?
No, I've not always been like this. And here's something so funny. Like, I laugh because, like, I went to college in the late 90s. Okay. So, like, fashion wasn't that great. Makeup wasn't that great. And I've had people say to me before, and they're like, oh my God, I bet you were so hot in college. And I'm like, no, I literally wasn't. I mean, we were cute. Like,
Yeah.
we did the best with what we could do. But no, I mean, I think honestly there is something to be said for women in their 40s. Like it's just this prime of like a woman's life. And I don't want to say prime because I feel like I'm only going to continue to get better, but it's kind of like this just different energy and different era, and there's so much going on, and I think it's like a time when a lot of us really get to take the time to get to know ourselves better and figure out like what works for us, and everybody is different, and everybody, every body, everything is different. So when you take the time to get to know yourself and genuinely like really love who you are on the inside, it shows.
It comes at different points for different people. Like, I love that I've started to have on more seasoned guests who are exiting long term relationships or just redefining their second acts. Like 50 is the new 40, which is the new 20. So
Mhm.
really, you get like a whole new set of downs and you can just reinvent yourself,
Huh.
which is magnificent. Also, yeah, the 90s were just a time. They were a
Yeah.
time.
I
They
mean,
some of
there
the
were
early
some good
2000s.
things that came out of it, but I like seeing some of the like 90s trends that have popped back up. I'm not really sure how I feel about like some of them, but there's some good things that we're kind of mixing in with like the current state, whether it's like maybe a little like skatery jean or maybe like a different, like eyeliner or something. But otherwise, most of the 90s can stay back in the 90s.
These parties are so interesting because they're starting to be like a thing, like at some like clubs or just like events.
Hmm.
It's crazy that we've lived long enough where our decade is actually becoming back as like a retro event
I know.
now. I don't know how I feel about that.
I know. I mean, some of it is cool. Like, there's some nostalgia Instagram page that started like popping into my algorithm. I mean, there are some things that were truly magical about that time. Like, I mean, I didn't have my first cell phone till I was 21, and if we went out and took cameras, like they were disposables. There was
Right.
so like today's Tuesday. Like if we lived in the same city and we made plans to go out on Saturday, like we would just show up. Like there wouldn't be this
We
constant
didn't know if
texting
you
to
like
confirm,
canceled or not. Yep.
reconfirm. Like you go there. I'm like, oh, I'm meeting Josh at 6 on Saturday at ABC Kitchen. It's like I'm there. So it's just like some of those things I do miss. And I do like feel like I'm grateful that I got to live during that time without all this technology. But then again, going back to like that we're even able to do this, like how cool that I'm alive during this time where we can.
Right. Honestly, I still do that. A lot of my friends were like, I didn't know we were still meeting because you didn't extra follow up on it. Do we need to? Like we made the plan.
We made the plan.
Like
Yeah.
an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by outside
Yes.
force. Unless I call you and
Right.
tell you it's not happening or we're switching it up. Like just be at the place we
Yeah.
talked about because I'm gonna be there.
Totally.
Okay. My last question for you, and this is a real one. What is scarier to you? Falling in love and being hurt or potentially never falling in love again?
I would probably say potentially never falling in love again, going back to how much I love love. So, yeah. I mean, I've survived all the heartbreak I've been through up until today. So, why would I not go for it again?
Right. Who knows? Maybe you'll get like a national podcasting award or like a syndicated TV show
Yes.
for the
From
next
your
one.
mouths to the universe ears, baby. That's what we're going for. Let's go.
Right. Yes. Alrighty, Nikki, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Like, you were amazing. I
Yeah.
can't wait to visit Arizona and
Hell
grab a
yeah.
glass of wine.
Yes, me too. Me too. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Now, before we get out of here, because I know everybody listening and watching, because you're all subscribed to the YouTube channel as well as
Yes.
following all the other amazing apps, and you've gone over and you've followed the Scarlet Edit as well. So I don't have to tell you to do that because
No
it's already
brainer.
done. Yeah, yeah, done already. Where can we find you? What's going on for the rest of 2025? What are you really excited about right
Yeah. So you can find all of my links and all of the things. I'll make it very easy. It's just nikki-corbett.com. In there, you can find ways to work with me. You can find all the links to where my show is live: YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and also Patreon. I am building a Patreon community. It is still in its very baby infancy stages, but over there, my goal is to fill it with women who want to have people to connect with, who have been through some things and as a part of their journey, and who either need support in just navigating what comes next, who want to connect with women who have been through similar situations and want to be in a true judgment-free zone. My plan over there is to do some live Q&As. There's going to be one-on-one ways to work with me directly, and then I'm also putting together some, larger group type things that will roll out early next year. So nikki-corbett.com. Come check me out on all the things and listen to the show. I think that you will love it. And Josh, thanks for having me.
now? I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's made it this far and to today's episode. I will be sure to keep loving and supporting you because you're doing it with me. So I will see all you amazing bachelors and bachelorettes, hell, even the partner people in the back next week for an all new episode of the Not So Bad Bachelor Pad. Peace.